Welcome, everyone. I am so excited because today I am launching a brand new venture called She Talks Birdie, where I will be talking about all things related to golf mindset practices, the best ones that you want to have on board, as well as ways to enhance your performance in other areas by interviewing guest experts. Today, I am kicking things off with fitness expert, founder of Par for Fitness, and one of Golf Digest's top 50 golf fitness trainers in America, Darin Hovis. Darin, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me, Shannon.
Awesome. And I'm excited about our topic today because we're going to be talking about why mindset is so important to your success during your off-course training. Because I spend a tremendous amount of time talking about the importance of mindset when you're on the course. And so I think this is a perfect time, and you're the perfect guest to talk about the importance of it off the course.
Yeah, I think it's a subject that's not touched on enough, and I'm excited to talk to your audience about it.
Excellent. So my opinion is that most golfers probably don't consider their mindset that they take with them into their workouts, right? Whether they're working out with their personal trainer, somebody like yourself, or they're working out in their home gym, that they just really don't pay attention to that. And yet we know that high achievers make a point of really operating with the very best mindset, no matter what it is that they're doing. And in my experience with golfers of all levels, I know that how you focus, the attitude that you choose, and your commitment to excellence all have an impact, if those things are good, a good impact on your performance. And we're talking about, what's the mindset that you're operating with when you're off the course, but you're still putting work into your game. So Darin, I'd love your thoughts on this. Could you talk to us a little bit about your experience with your clients and the need for them to be conscious of the mindset that they're training with, whether they're with you face to face or training with you virtually, or they're applying what you've given them to do on their own?
Yeah, certainly. So, any competitive golfer, it's challenging to bring the same intensity that they have on the course to something that's off the course, whether it's working mentally or doing workouts. It can be a challenge to bring that over. If you're able to bring the intensity to a workout, um, as well as bring it to your mental training and tie the two together to your practice, to your tournament play, then you're much more able to make that connection. And then you can view the importance as something that's a process to getting better. If you're showing up to the gym and you're not really in it that day, you're not going to really make the best strides towards your physical improvement. Or if you wake up one day and you say, well, hey, I'm going to be a little, I'm going to cheat on my nutrition plan today. You're not going to be really successful with that, are you? So it's having the plan in place, but having the intensity in your workouts, in your mental training, in your day-to-day activities, carries over to your practice too. So you're focused on the process, and you're really building yourself up that way.
I love it. And what has been your experience working with golfers, whether it's a weekend warrior, client, or a tour player? Who's making the most strides?
The ones that make the best strides, really in any category, professional or amateur, are the ones that have a clear focus on their goals. Okay, why are you coming to see me? Why are you doing mental training with Shannon? Why are you taking lessons? I think a lot of people get kind of stuck in the mix of going out and playing 2 or 3 times a week, especially our club members, and they don't really put the time into practice. But the ones that are working and treat it as a process are the ones that do much better with it. So having a plan in place, knowing what the process is, and then setting a goal that you can achieve towards the end of that progress, or end of that cycle, then you can see and get some satisfaction out of that.
That's excellent. And I agree completely. So you have touched on some of the things that I specifically wanted to address, and we're going to kind of dive in a little bit deeper on this subject matter because I think it is so important. And I believe that there are three things around mindset that every golfer, no matter what level they play, no matter how serious they think they are, they need to make a point of bringing this into their training so that they get the biggest return on their investment. And you touched on that first point already, which is, they've got to know what their why is, right? They have to have purpose behind their activities. And this whole concept of why, or finding your big why, was popularized by a business leader named Simon Sinek, and he wrote a book called Find Your Why back in 2017, which is excellent if you all have not read that. But in his book, he stresses the importance for every person, and I apply this to every performance arena, of knowing what your why is, why you do what you do, so that every time you do it with, as you described, that intensity, that passion. You're inspired and driven to go after that, with quality. So investing in your why, even when it comes to the time that you're spending in your workouts on the physical side of your game, we know that it increases your focus, that it gives you a greater sense of direction. As you said, you know that you're moving towards your goals. It adds meaningfulness to the activity, and I'm sure that you want that from your clients as well, so that they're not just checking a box, but they actually feel like they're moving the needle in their game. And by doing all of those things, it naturally boosts our confidence, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'll go through in any assessment is goal setting. So a lot of people have goals, and I always ask, okay, why do you want to achieve that? Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Why do you want to lower your handicap? Do you want to get back to playing with the friends that you were playing with? Is it for some external reason? Okay, what's the true reason, and your why, as to why you want to accomplish something?
Because doesn't it make it more real for them?
It does. I think people are always reluctant to share the deeper reason as to why they want to accomplish something. They go for that surface thing first, the one that's easy to say, oh, I want to accomplish this. Okay, well, why do you want to do that? That resonates with them more, and that's what's gonna help drive them internally, from day to day. Because we may not meet day to day, and it might not, we might not have that conversation. But if they realize why they are doing something, why they're investing in training or lessons, then that's much more of a driver to help you accomplish your goals.
Exactly. It's the whole idea of what's in it for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody likes to know what that is. Along the lines of what you just said, I ask those same questions of my clients when we go through a process called goal mapping, where it's setting those goals and breaking them down into bite-sized pieces and putting measurables in place and all of that. I want to know what their why is as well in every aspect of their game's development. So I will ask, what are you doing in the gym, and why are you doing those things in the gym? Because I think it brings so much more clarity for us, and is also very motivating when for example, that if I'm working on increasing my flexibility, it's going to lead to blank, right? Or if I'm working to achieve greater lower body strength, it's for the purpose of blank, right? Or my last example is, if I know that I need to establish a bit more balance, for my swing, it will help enhance it in this particular way. So you've explained, Darin, which I think is so cool, how you go about that process, that Q&A of getting to that, not surface why, but a deeper why. And in your experience, again, I'd love to know what you see as far as the transformation for your clients who really get connected to that why.
Yeah, I think it's getting deeper than that surface setting, and I think building that relationship, they do open up over time. And one thing, I think a lot of people think they're doing the right things to help accomplish their goals. And okay, so there's a reason why you contacted me or contacted you or taking lessons. And one thing I'll ask is, okay, what you've been doing up until now, how has that worked? And so clearly, maybe there's some issues with the process that you might not need to totally change everything that you're doing, but if you just make a few tweaks here and there, or just learn a few different techniques, then you're able to accomplish the goals that you want. I think most people have a hard time picking where to start. So now that we're in this quarantine setting, everybody's like, okay, what do I do during this time? And I think you can go one of two paths. I just kind of sit on the couch and do nothing. You're not gonna develop yourself, or you're gonna work on things to get better during this time. That okay, when we do get back to normal life, or as normal as we knew it, then there's a better version of you on the other side of that. And I think training's the other way too. So it's the same way, is because there's that version of you that's out there. It's just okay. How do I start? What's the process to get there? And show me the steps along the way.
Exactly. And I think what you brought up, Darin, just now, how it can be so overwhelming and prevent us from really knowing where to start when we just look at the gap between where we are and where we want to be. And it's like, oh, it seems so big, and I just don't quite know how to get over to that side of things. And so I think that's why it is so essential for golfers, again, no matter what level they're playing, to have a team of experts on board to help them figure those things out. So they're not, winding this way and that way and, the trial and error sort of thing, and not making efficient progress in their game. But that, with somebody like yourself, you're able to kind of see the forest through the trees and streamline, really map out that plan, which we're going to talk about a little bit more when we talk about my third point. But really just helping them put it into a structured format. Is that what you're doing mainly?
Yeah, exactly. So we're just supplying the process to help people get to their physical goals, or maybe they want to swing the club faster. That's part of the equation to creating more distance, which a lot of people want to do as well. How do we do that safely? But how do we motivate you along the way? That's an important piece of the puzzle.
And what are you doing for clients right now when things are a little wonky out there?
So we've transitioned to virtual training. So myself and Elsa Clark, she's on the FGCU women's golf team. We've been running virtual classes every morning, and we've been putting together webinars, much like this one, to send out to clients. So that's going to be a daily thing. So other than the weekend, we'll kind of give them a break. But Monday through Friday, they've got daily doses of things they can do physically to get better and get through the times. I know there's a lot of that right now out on the internet. You can find it wherever you look. But connecting with our clients and maintaining that connection is important when we do see them again face to face.
Because I'm sure that you've been hearing from some of them, as I've been hearing from my clients, and people are afraid because they're not able to do what they normally do, that they're going to backslide,
Yeah, I do find that it is a challenge. Like we talked about, it could go one of two ways, where they take a step back, and you're particularly worried about the ones that are we're making strides and getting better with pain, managing that a bit better as well. So if they're not doing the same things, not challenging the body in the same way, then those painful patterns can kind of creep in again. Especially when we get down mentally too, pain seems to get worse uh, if we are depressed or we have other things going on in life, which all of us do at the moment. So if you can keep a positive outlook on things, then that can knock down the pain scale uh, that you're experiencing.
Well, and I think people just staying productive, right? Feeling like they have an activity to engage in helps relieve a lot of the stress that could come about if we sit around and we worry or we search the internet for all the doom and gloom from the
Right.
news sources that is out there. And so, seeing this time as a gift and being productive, I'm sure that that goes a long way. And that you've been able to make modifications with your clients who are coming to you to work with you face to face on something as important as pain management, that there are ways that you're able to still reach out to them and work with them in that virtual environment.
Right. So, and we are also are doing one-on-one virtual training as well. So it's obviously there's some pitfalls that we're not able to be as hands-on as what I'd like, but nonetheless, we can walk you through some things that um, there are some benefits though too. So if you have some relief of your pain, then okay, I did this myself to take care of it, and that's empowering too. Because if you're just going through passive modalities, you're relying on a masseuse, or you're relying upon me or a chiropractor to make you feel better every day. That's not really a good path to take in general. You want to be able to control that yourself and make sure that you can learn techniques to manage it on your own when you need to. You don't have those people around you.
Absolutely. Everybody wants to have that independence to some degree.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're kind of tiptoeing our way, Darin, into the second point that I wanted to talk about, which is that a golfer has got to take with them into their training a winner's attitude. And so dragging yourself to the gym, I'm sure, is not something that you recommend that anybody does. Having that reluctant attitude is not going to help them get the maximum benefit from their time investment. And with all of my clients, I talk to them a lot about the need to train yourself to operate with an attitude of a winner. And I think that there's a misunderstanding around attitude, and a lot of people think that it's a byproduct of people and circumstances. So, the attitude I'm going to have is really externally generated, rather than it's something that I choose to establish and maintain from within me, regardless of what's going on around me. And that's why, I really pinpointed that as kind of our second focal area. Because when we are approaching any activity with a winning attitude, we're naturally going to perform better. Our mind stays open to possibilities, which enhances and expedites our learning and allows us to get the most for our time and our effort. And I always recommend that clients think about attitude like a shirt. So it's something that you want to pick out in the morning and put on and wear, and not let somebody else rip that puppy off your back, during the course of a day. And when you think about the care that most of us take when we kind of put on what we're going to put on for the day, a lot of people will take more of a passive approach to attitude. However I feel when I roll out of bed is what I'll roll with for the day. And that's not obviously a winner's approach to performance in any arena. So you can, when you put your mind to it, choose a winning attitude. And when you do that, you're going to find that it's going to increase your energy level throughout the day. It's going to help you be more focused to perform everything that you do with a higher degree of quality. So when you think about your activities in the gym, you obviously want to go through those movements with quality in order to get the results that you're looking for. And lastly, it helps you track your wins. So if you're focused on maintaining a winning attitude, you're going to track those wins. So Darin, what has been the difference in the gains? So like tangible gains that you see from clients who choose to train with a winner's attitude versus those who don't?
Yeah, and training from day to day is different. So there's only so many gains that you'll make in the gym from one session to the next. But if you're walking in with a kind of a losing attitude consistently, then the gains that you experience compared to the individual that's coming in with a winning attitude every single time is going to be very significant. So you're going to see a lot less strength gains. You're going to see coordination losses there if you're coming in with a poor attitude. I do find that it's harder for clients coming in solo if they've got a poor attitude to change that within the time frame that I'm with them drastically. So it's easier for a group setting if you're kind of in a down mood, but if you're with four others that are more optimistic than you, then it's easier to kind of pick yourself up. To say, okay, I'm gonna meet them because I know they showed up today, but I didn't, and I can still make some gains here. So I try to take that individual, and I'll be that other person in the room that will kind of join in with them and kind of raise the spirit for the day. That way they can get as much gain as they can out of it. Now it is harder when you're doing it on your own. So that's the power that you have if you're waking up and actively putting that t-shirt on and having a winning attitude for the day, then you're going to be much more successful on your own. But if you're taking a more passive approach, then it might be wise to modify workouts in the meantime to meet that attitude. So you don't want to go into the gym with a poor attitude and expect to hit all of your personal records, say with squats or chest press or pulls on cables, because that's not likely going to happen. It might just kind of further spiral you into your bad day, where you say, well, I'm not doing that well either. So maybe go out for a walk, try some meditation, a little bit of yoga. It's a short stretching session. That's an easy way to modify what you're doing based on how you're feeling, and until you improve those tactics mentally, then that's kind of the cycle that we have to go through in order to train and still get benefit out of it.
I love your suggestion for changing things up. I think that is so cool. And much needed, again, where we're feeling like there's so much of our lives that are out of our control. Knowing that you've got a variety of things that are within your control that can keep you moving, and hopefully then moving forward mentally, moving physically and moving forward mentally.
Yeah, exactly. Adjust to your environment.
Love it. All right. So we'll wrap things up with kind of this third mindset related thing that I think golfers must take with them into their training sessions, and that's accountability. And it's one thing to, be coming to, obviously when clients come to work with you, Darin, you're there to crack the whip and like kick them in the fanny and say, come on, go, 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 and that kind of thing. But when that's not the case, and when you've given people a training regimen to follow and they have to be accountable to themselves, things get a little different. And I think the best way, regardless of which way you're training, to have that structure that you need for accountability is to create a plan, to then, schedule that plan. So it's like booked on the schedule, you've carved out the time, no excuses, right? It's there.
Right.
And then to just commit to executing that plan. And So obviously the best way, in my opinion, for somebody to establish a plan is to work with a knowledgeable and trusted resource like you. And once you've got the basics locked down with a client, then the only thing that they need to go do is execute the plan. And when clients are planning, and feel free to jump in here on this, but I feel that clients need to make a plan up front, kind of do all of that heavy lifting in advance when they're not emotionally charged and when they're not, opening the door to lean into their feelings about, well, I may not want to do that today. But you create that plan, and it has that why attached to it, right? And so it's meaningful. You decided that up front. And then your accountability is making sure that you just do it day after day after day after day. So how do you help your clients, create a plan that has that accountability structure built in?
Sure. So we here at Par 4 Fitness run off of this three-step process of function, strengthen, and perform. So function, you're building that foundation of movement, creating good control of range of motion. Strengthen, you're layering on strength on top of that nice foundation. And then perform is where we're adding speed, agility, coordination into the mix. And the way that I'll walk clients through that will be through phase one, phase two. So say you maximize your movement capabilities in phase one. Okay, now we'll step you up to some of these progressions. But if I see you next week and you're not really any better than when I saw you during the initial eval, then okay, we're gonna be stuck in phase one for a little while longer. We also have an app that's helped out right now too, because we do online programming through that as well. Clients can log their workouts, and that comes directly to my cell phone or iPad, and it'll alert me every time someone finishes a workout. So that's a great way to promote accountability and hold yourself accountable, because I'm watching you. So I'm not this like in your face rah rah type of trainer that you might see like on TV or online. I take a little bit more passive approach. So I put a lot of the ownership on the client to meet their goals, because they're not my goals. I'm just here to help you achieve what you want to do, because I've got something totally different. So I think that helps people stay accountable to what they want to accomplish, and that's how I see us moving forward, and keeping clients accountable through this time and then moving forward too.
That's excellent. I love that there are consequences, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't progress. I mean, it's not like a slap on the wrist or anything like that, but we say, well, there's this process, and I know at the end that I'll be the best version of myself, and if I don't do the work, then I'm going to be stuck down here on the bottom rung,
Yeah.
which is kind of where I'm at now. So yeah, I think it's helpful.
Right. And, it's not about beating yourself up. It's about being brutally honest, I think. And I talk to clients a lot about there being a difference between what they say they want, and then, when the rubber meets the road, as they say, are you doing what you say you want to do? Are you putting in
Right.
the effort to achieve what you're telling me you want? And actions speak louder than words. We know that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think nutrition is the biggest player in that as well, because I know people say they want to lose weight, but they don't want to give up certain things. They don't want to give up or reduce alcohol intake, and there's easy things that you can do, like sleep more and just drink half of your body weight in ounces of water. That can help, because you're not going to be kind of reaching for that second glass of wine if you've had enough water throughout the day. So it just adding water is a simple way to add a positive influence into your life, and move that needle towards the right direction in terms of nutrition too. So if you can set your goals and then stick to them and make the sacrifices where you need to, then that's something that you can have success with. And if you don't do that, then you're just going to be where you're at now.
Yep, I totally agree. And I think the big thing is that when you've put in the time and the effort to have a plan, whether it's, weight loss or strengthening or flexibility or whatever it is, that once you put in that time, that you can't give yourself the out of, do I feel like doing that today? Do I feel like reaching for water instead of wine, right? Do I feel like picking at the grocery store, not that we're going to the grocery store right now, but picking, the healthy snack versus the bag of potato chips, right? And it's not that we can't, and this is something that I read about recently, really replace, anytime the word can't comes out of your mouth, slot in instead the word won't. And then try that on for size. So it's not that you can't do it, but you got to ask yourself why you won't do it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I might steal that with clients.
Perfect. So I hope that all of you who are watching today are really starting to understand why it's so important to cultivate a mindset for success when it comes to not just what you're doing on the golf course, on the range, but everything that you do off the course. That the mindset is going to be the driver for your success. And so you better make sure that you are approaching everything with a desire to achieve excellence if you intend on actually seeing excellence come out when you're out on that golf course. So if you guys have any questions, please leave a comment for me or for Darin below, and we will be happy to get back to you and provide you clarification or a deeper understanding of anything that you want to ask us about. And Darin, thank you so much for joining me today for She Talks Birdie.
Yes, thank you for having me. Love the name, and I look forward to doing this again very soon with you.
Wonderful. All right, everybody, get out there, start taking some time to get active today, do something productive, if I can even talk, and until next time, play great.